You are listening to Rep Radio, giving you an inside look at the plays and the players since 2009. Today on the podcast, it's that time of year when we check in with Gunnar Montana for the latest offering, BathHouse, designed as a temple to the fluid nature of sexuality. Stay tuned. Rep Radio is on the air. Welcome to Rep Radio. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am in the virtual studio with Gunnar Montana.
Hi, Darnell.
Gunnar, welcome back to the podcast.
Hi, Darnell. Hi, everybody. Good to be back.
This has become, I'm so glad this is like an annual stop.
You're right.
To just chat about your latest offering, and which is always an experience, a spectacle, something to talk about for quite a bit of time. And it's great. But before we get into what you have in store for us this Fringe season, tell us how the summer has been for you.
Well, the summer has been good. We were just talking about going to the beach and how everybody runs off to the beach to rip off their clothes and get some sun during the summer. Mm-hmm. There has been none of that. Which is perfectly fine because I'm very fair and a redhead, so it's usually detrimental. But I've been indoors. I've been making this show by scratch, by hand, and I've been in rehearsal with my dancers all summer long. And it's been very brutal and very fun and really eye-opening and extremely exciting. All the things. Yeah.
So last year, we checked into Motel Montana, which was a wonderful experience.
Did you enjoy yourself?
Oh my God! Did I?
I did.
Yes.
Good. Yes. Excellent.
Yeah. I thought it was so well done. Like you could really see visually the story that you were telling was so clear, and really. I just really enjoyed it from start to finish. And I feel like your productions are just one of those things where the audience has already hyped it up like 30%. Right. So it could be trash. It would still be 30%, because everybody's already expecting it to be, so great anyway. And I think that really is just a testament to the amount of time and attention you put into each piece. You're not out here trying to put like 10 smaller pieces together. You're working on this one offering amongst all the other creative things that you do. Right. But in general, it just shows that you put a lot of effort and time into all of these things. So I appreciate it. I'm pretty sure your fans who are listening who also appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work, and it comes in one fell swoop, and it happens once a year. But I just love working this way. This kind of like go big or go home way, Mm-hmm. And I get to get it all out, and then I get to hibernate for the rest of the year.
Yeah, And what a partner, I guess. Well, I don't know if it's a partner, but sort of like I guess you can call them a partner. The Latvian Society is such a great space for you. I don't know. We probably talked about this before, but how did that relationship begin? And because it seems like it's such a, whatever Gunnar wants, Gunnar gets.
Well, actually, initially it happened on accident, and I had my very first show. It was called Rub, and it was this trashy kind of sexy show with a stripper cast, and we were doing it at the old Dolphin Tavern. Remember like the old Dolphin Tavern when it was like cool and trashy with titties and all that stuff, and then it turned in like Hipsterville with the revamp. But before that, we were supposed to have it there, and then it shut down like a week before the show was supposed to open. So I was just scrambling to find a place, and the Latvian took me in. at last minute, and I was initially having shows downstairs in the smaller room behind the bar, and we've graduated to the upstairs, and now every year I just come in here and they give me a few months to just kind of do my own thing. And it's like one of those like amoeba things that live on whales and they feed off of each other, but it's a mutual living situation. You know, they both benefit from the partnership. So that's what it kind of feels
Yeah.
like, is that like I'm helping out the Latvian and they really help me in a big way, and they're just awesome. And they come to the work and they love it, you know, and it's an older community and you wouldn't expect it because the work can be so risque and avant-garde, and they just eat it
Hmm.
up. And I would lump them in with like the Quakers as far as just like a supportive community goes. You know, they're just wonderful people, and they're wonderful to work with. And so, yeah, I've been watching over the space for them most of the summer. And I tell them, you know, when they got leaks and stuff like that, and we take care of the building together. And then they let me do whatever I want creatively, as long as I don't destroy the place, which hasn't happened yet.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's like a residence.
It is.
Um,
Yeah.
what do you think? What do you think is the draw for them? What do you think? You know, obviously you're a great tenant, but but they could easily just take your money
Right.
and
Um,
stay in the office.
I think because they've worked with a lot of people in it before in the building, and I think what I've gotten the gist of is that they appreciate the respect I have for them as a community, and the fact that it is their building and it's here to be a community center for them. So if that means that, you know, throughout the year I have to move all of my stuff so that they can have a Christmas bazaar, then that's what happens. And other people, I think, have taken advantage of that in that situation, and
Mm.
they haven't put their needs first. So I went
Uh,
in very palms up with them and said, let's work on this space together. You know, you guys can use the money, I can use the space, but let's figure out the best way to move around each other and to use the space for each other's needs. So I think that's
yeah,
what really appeals to them.
that's
Yeah,
great. Do you ever see Gunnar Montana Productions having its own facility?
I would love that. I would. And I would have that tomorrow if I had the money to do it. So whoever's listening that has the money to give me to do it, I'll take it. You know, it really, that's all it comes down to. That's all it boils down to, is that you need to grow into these things. And I've been looking for
Yeah.
years, and I'll get there. Eventually I'll get there. I'm super excited about it. But you do have to kind of
Mhm.
grow upward and get there eventually. You know, if it happens in all one fell swoop, you're going to be screwed. So every year I get a little bigger, and every year I do more, and hopefully I'll have my own space to do it sooner or later. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah, there's a long line of organizations looking for
I'm the guy.
that that whale with a blank check.
I'm the guy.
They're like, please,
Yeah,
if there are any whales out there, come to Philadelphia. There is so much wonderful art being produced here. There are so many wonderful artists
yeah,
who could put that money to put those resources, I should say, to great
yeah. You have
use.
so many
Uh,
great people here making work. And I already have just like the most supportive community around me. Every year we do a Kickstarter for these shows. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. Every year people are bringing more friends. Cool.
mhm.
And really excited about the work all the time and all that stuff. So
Yeah. So this season's offering is called BathHouse,
yeah.
and so tell us about it.
It's I never know what the shows are because I'm in them usually, you know, and then I get
Mhm.
so invested in them and so involved in the creative process that I am completely blindsided by the end result. Like I have no idea what's happening because I've worked on it so long. You just get too immersed in it, you know. So I honestly don't know what the takeaway will be, but it is just so much fun. We teched it a couple days ago, and just running through it with everybody, it's super high energy. It's totally different for me. The layout, the dancers are incredible, and I think I just wanted to make something that everybody can smile with and just have a good time with and enjoy. I think that's what we're really in need of these days. So I really wanted to make something
Yeah.
fun and absurd and just unapologetically queer and loving and sexy and just check all those boxes, because I just think we're all going through so much right now, and we're all dealing with, you know, the last few years. So to be able to put on the show and to see it in tech and to just watch everybody in the cast having so much fun with it, it's just such a blessing to be able to create it. And I'm so excited for people to see it. I really am.
Yeah. Can you speak to the significance of a bathhouse to the queer community?
Oh my God, this is the funnest part about the show, is that bathhouses are different in different communities, right? So you have the
Hmm.
gay bathhouse, which I was drawn to because it's another sacred queer space. And I just love these spaces. I love anything old school gay, that was used in the face of adversity. I love that idea that we're going to these places to be ourselves. I don't like the idea that we have to do that, but I love the idea that these places were made, and bathhouses were part of that. And this kind of like, it's like a live grinder, right? So essentially, that's what Grinder is today, are these bathhouses. And so you would go in, you would just hook up with, you know, whoever, wherever, and it just provided a safe space for people to do that. So
Hmm.
I'm really drawn to that. I really love that idea. I'm really drawn to safe spaces right now. I hate that word because it's kind of tacky, it feels like, but I safe space, like just spaces you feel safe in. Um,
Yeah.
and creating that for people, because I don't feel all that safe these days. I don't know about you. I don't walk out in the street and feel like safe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I just feel constantly kind of um like something's bad is going to happen. I don't know if it's the news, I don't know if it's the state of the world. It just feels like there's a big cloud over the world. And so I just wanted to
World.
create a space where it didn't feel like that. You know, if
Hmm.
not for people, just for me to live here for a summer so that I can get away from it and bring a whole bunch of people with me to do the same. So that's the idea of the bathhouse in the safe space for the queer community. And then you have the bathhouses in like Middle Eastern, Roman, all of these other communities. And that's more about, I love the idea of cleansing oneself, especially when it comes to water, of washing people, of men washing men, and the unity and the community that comes from that. And it's just, when you put the two together, the idea of feeling cleansed and queer in a safe way, that's kind of what the show entails. That's kind of what the show is about. You should walk out of it feeling refreshed, to be whoever you are driven to be. You know, that's the idea, in a really fun way. So the bathhouse kind of, it pulls from a lot of different ideas of what a bathhouse could be, and then I kind of created my own. I do this a lot. With my ideas, and so it turned into like what my version of a bathhouse is, and it's this totally bizarre um, experience. It's really, really crazy. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how to describe it. But it's a lot of fun.
Is it anything like the ecosystem you created for your frog?
It there. You say that we're getting closer to creating a frog tank that everybody can come and see people dance in. We're not far from that. There's a show called Vivarium out there somewhere, and we're gonna build it eventually. But it's a few.
Let's
It's
say right now, there
definitely
it
a
is.
few steps in that direction for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting that the bathhouse, in all of its cultural forms, in a sense, is a space for body positivity
Yeah,
as well,
yeah. I would hope so.
because
Yeah, it's supposed to
you
be.
do come as you are,
Yeah.
and your body is just your body.
Exactly. And there's a lot of body celebration in this, and a sexual celebration in this. And there's a freedom that comes with that, right? Um, so I think the whole show, to me, I'm watching it from start to finish, just feels like it's more of a vibe than a storyline. You don't follow a storyline. So don't come here trying to figure it out. It's a total vibe, and it's a feeling, and it feels like a way of life. I wanted it to feel like you stumbled upon a religious experience for queerness. That was the idea. The idea is that the bathhouse is underneath the motel. You went into some kind of trap door somewhere and ended up in this kind of like queer ritual, and it's darker and it's sexier and it's all of these things. So it's like bizarrely religious at the same time too, because I go to, like, I'll see like churches, and I went to the basilica once and stuff like that, and I was like, where's this for queer people? I want to go to queer church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of those things as well.
So I was going to ask you, like, what is the underlying theme? And you just said that there wasn't one. But when I thought about, when I was thinking about BathHouse, I was thinking about, and some of our listeners might know this, I was thinking about kind of Titan Media.
Yes.
How they would just have a title, and then things just happen in that space.
Yes, that's what
like.
That's what it feels like. You're just along for the ride. That's what it feels like, you know, and all of these things. So, so I can't really tell you what it's about. I know that I pulled from a lot of different religious experiences that I've had. And some of it is satirical, and some of it is meaningful. And at the end, it kind of feels culty and seance-y in a very gay way. There's a lot of ideas of people. And so, yeah, I just it's a total vibe. It's a total vibe. It's not even a show. It's a vibe, you know?
It's a vibe. That should have been the description on FringeArts.
Yeah,
it's not a show.
It's not a show. It's a vibe. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to BathHouse. You know why? Because it's not a show.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, we'll get T-shirts made. Yeah.
That should be on the back. Not a show, a vibe.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm always curious, and I think I ask you this all the time, like how the idea comes together, like how it starts. Like, did you know this year's offering was going to be called BathHouse, you know, like a long time ago, or did you just start with some pieces that came together and you were like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to put this under this sort of umbrella.
Well, I feel like I collect places as I go throughout life that I would like to make my own interpretation on. I have a favorite bathhouse. It's called BathHouse. It's in Vegas. It's at the Delano Hotel, and I go there a lot when I rock climb down there. Slate gray, super masculine. And it's just this really sexy place to be. So I think I pulled from that a little bit. And then I just look for spaces, because they're all spaces, right? All of my shows are named after places. So I just look for spaces that I feel like I could find cool inhabitants for, or I could make my own. So the BathHouse, as soon as I started kind of like doing a little research on what bathhouses meant for different people, it just kind of like fell into place. It's a really fun idea. And then I just love the significance in the queer community. I think that's really important, you know?
It does seem like, you know, earlier you said, you know, don't always feel safe or comfortable, like being out in the world. Everyone's on edge. And it seems like this is a time where we could all benefit from bathhouses, or some sort of reinvention of a space where you can go and, you know, literally shake off everything. Take off all of your and relax. Space that is designed to just sort of cleanse and purify your body, and just you know, shut out the world for however long you want to stay. And because of the many changes and the dismantling of communities, you know, they're hard to come by.
I mean, there's so much tension in the world for everybody right now. So just working on this show has relieved a lot of that for me personally. And maybe that's the only reason I made this show. Maybe the show's awful, but at least that's the takeaway, you know, for me personally. I never think about how the audience is going to deal with that. I always just think about who's working on it and what we're working through. And there's just, this show is just so physical, and you can see in the physicality of it just how working with your body is healing in itself. People will come in very stressed and with a lot of baggage, and they'll leave smiling from rehearsals, you know? And then whatever we're working on is always translates to the audience, you know? However we feel about the work always gets to the audience. And I think that's what the people take away, and that's what they really enjoy. So I already know that there's going to be a really magical takeaway from this one because of where we're at as a cast and what we've been working through.
So I'm thinking about production in terms of like scenic design because it's BathHouse, you know, it's fluid, you know, so it's I'm thinking like are we going to be in sort of like a pool of sorts? Is that the experience? You know, or in terms of like how do you, because there has to be a lot of water in this space.
There's a significant amount of water in this space, and a few different forms. I'll say that your chances of getting wet are probably 60%. Not too wet, in a fun, immersive way.
Crop tops and short shorts, okay. Apparel.
We're selling tank tops this year.
Yes. Yes.
And there's a few different things. It's actually a completely different layout. So I usually do a round audience. This is my first time doing a proscenium styled stage, which is really interesting for me. And that just takes the work to a totally different level than I feel like anybody has felt it before. And then I've had some really fun surprises with the set that I really, really enjoy this year. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I'll wait for people to come to the audience, but I will say that it definitely feels like you're in a bathhouse for sure, you know, with some nods to Motel Montana as well, since we're supposed to be in the same kind of world, you know?
Yeah. I love that concept. Like we forget that, you know, many artists will create a world that all of their stories kind of live in. When you think about it with film auteurs, and you think about it at TV shows that have spin-offs and, you know, spaces like that. So I think it's so great that this is, you know, the resort,
right?
You know, Motel Montana has a bathhouse,
right? Exactly.
That is part of an overall offering, you know, in the world of Gunnar Montana.
And I think eventually maybe there'll be a whole building of all these places put together, and you can see just like an immense amount of them at the same time. That'd be so cool. But
I was about to say, like, so if Gunnar Montana was a compound, what else?
Would be in the basement. BathHouse would be kind of like a walking trail away through the woods in the dark, you know. And then the motel would be the main part. You know, there's a attic show in the works, maybe. There's a whole bunch of ideas. There's a whole world that I've created. So again, the money. Just get me the money and I'll give you the compound. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing a theme park. I'll take it. I'll take it and I'll build it myself. By hand.
I would subscribe. Season pass.
For sure.
Season pass. I always think about like whenever I go to spaces, like when we go camping. So when we go camping out in the Poconos, you probably know where. And I think about those places like this could be a theatrical experience.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There's so many elements to kind of play on and kind of take that out. And I do love the fact that you know, those who follow you on social media, you're not just sitting in the Latvian Society brainstorming. Like you're actually out in the world doing things, experiencing life, and, you know, getting out in nature and sort of clearing your head to kind of think about these things. And so I can only imagine like what ideas you have that have not really fully materialized just yet.
And I think that balance is just so important. You can't be an artist year round. It's nearly impossible, you know? I have to take months and months off from being an artist to get the artistic ideas to come through. You know what I'm saying? The human part is where all the ideas come from. The artistic part is how they're executed, you know? So yeah, you got to stop and you got to be human and all the ideas come to you, you know? And then you got to figure out how to execute them, you know? But there are a lot in there that I haven't even done yet that I wouldn't have enough time or energy to get through for the rest of my life, I'm sure. Which is a great thing.
Well, yes, I was about to say that is a good thing to know that you have, a ton of things you haven't even thought about yet. I mean, that maybe you wrote down an idea and you just have it as a bookmark. I wrote this down because I woke up in the middle of a dream and I had this thing. I put it down so that way I'll get to it. It was 5 years ago that I thought about that. And now it's going to, an endless well. I don't know where the mindset came from. I think when you think about, I guess the dance community does tend to take its time telling a story through the medium. It's not always like okay, this one finished, what's next? Almost immediately. Like it does feel like a dance company or sort of in that vein kind of presents, goes away, and then comes back with something even greater.
It's a very difficult medium, dance. I think as well-rounded as my artistic career has been thus far, dance is definitely the hardest, I think, because you're working with bodies to communicate. It's super hard to communicate with, and to tell stories with and all of that stuff. Like theater, you can legitimately just tell somebody the story. You know what I'm saying? For dance to use movement as a medium, it's incredibly difficult, and it's incredibly all of this kind of like lag between shows and stuff is because you need that time to recoup from telling the story. You know what? Because I'll be like in bed for at least a month after a show. I won't move. I'll play video games and just decompress for at least a month. And I don't talk to anybody. So I just recollect all of my energy. You know what I'm saying? It's exhausting. It's totally exhausting. Whereas you paint a picture, it's up there and you move on to the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's still just like any other art that sort of moves us. We're just like more. We become thirsty for it. We want more. And it's like, what, I have to go away and recoup before I come back with something new.
We've also gotten into the habit of, getting everything all at once. So you have like these Netflix series that come out and you get to binge it, and then what's next to binge, and all these things. And you're almost thinking about what's next before you're even at the end of the thing you're watching, And that feels like it's a very part of our culture now. Is like, we want more, TikTok after TikTok after TikTok. We want more content, you know what I'm saying? And that's not how the real world works. That's a facade. So to be in the real world and to be making real art in real time is a completely different animal. I'm really happy to be able to do it and not to have to stay online or to use that because Instagram, I think, is destroying all the social media stuff is just destroying the realness of art,
Yeah. So you mentioned TikTok. And I know your favorite platform is Instagram.
I'm not even on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, you ever think about being there?
No, I hate it. I hate TikTok because the demand for content it's ridiculously stupid. You'll create something and then you get pigeonholed into that creative. And then you try to replicate that as much as you can to please people. It's ludicrous. It's exactly what you don't want to do as an artist, So the idea of making art to appease people is really a bad place to be, I think. And I think we'll learn that in a few years. And I've experienced a lot of that because I have had a few things go viral, and then you start thinking, oh, this is what people like, this is what I'll become. So it's this really awful animal that I think is going to create a lot of mental illness in the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm sad to be a part of it, but I do kind of keep it at an arm's length, and I enjoy it when I can at an arm's length. But I think it's very detrimental to the realness of life, like I said.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to stay away from it. I don't want to do TikToks. I don't want my art to be 10 seconds long. I want it to last a lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. And being that Instagram is your platform of choice, what are your thoughts on the changes that are going on there? It's become more about reels and stories and so on. Like, are you riding that trend? Are you seizing the moment, or are you more of an Instagram purist?
I love a good reel as much as I hate a good reel. It's a very love-hate relationship. I'm very conflicted. I think a lot of people are very conflicted about this, as well as very addicted. We're conflicted and addicted.
Yeah.
So I love making a good reel. There's an art form to it, right? I love editing videos and stuff. That's really fun. I hate the demand behind it. I hate the idea that you're doing it for other people. What was that Black Mirror episode where everybody was ranked by? It's the same thing.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's really scary. It's really frightening. But I do, in the wintertime, get bored enough to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy it because as a very introverted person, I can appear extroverted and connect with people in a very introverted way. And that's what I love most about it, is that I can stay at home and not talk to anybody for a month and reach thousands of people doing that, just by making videos. So for me, I really like it for that, because I actually am introverted, and the Gunnar Montana character is this big energy, high performance, high heels character, but I'm only that person for half the year. But I get to be that person for the whole year because of Instagram,
I'm not always that girl.
I'm not always that girl, but when I am, I'm that girl,
100%.
Yeah.
So now I'm just going to talk a little technical, because there's so much technology out here to help us create these things. Yeah. You have particular platforms that you prefer to use to create these stories. You said you like editing, and
I do. Photo Leap and Video Leap are the best things. That's it. That's all I use. Photo Leap and Video Leap. There's a lot of leaps. There's Light Leap. There's a bunch of them. They're really fun to use. I use GarageBand to make music sometimes for them. But those are my main tools, I think, on Instagram, I think.
Yeah.
When editing stuff.
I feel like I'm always exploring what's out there and what's new, and I'm often blown away at because I live on YouTube. Like, there's so much you can learn from there. So I live in those spaces, and I love finding a platform or an application that tells us a little bit about how to use their product. And to see that there's only like hundreds of people who have viewed it. Like, there's only hundreds of views. And okay, this is still kind of niche. So I might be able to jump in here and see, if I can make something real out of this without everybody else sort of, rushing into the space as well.
For sure. Hey, sharks. Yeah.
So this production, I think, like the other productions, there's a VIP package available. For that. Talk about that, because I also love this time of year, because I get to have chats with you and Brian Sanders, or Brian Sanders Junk, and this VIP experience has been something I thought was really clever. So talk about that.
Well, the idea of VIP I really dislike. I'll be straight up. I hate the idea of viewing art in an elitist way. You
Hmm.
know, I think it should be for the people, made by the people. But I also know that there's a lot of people that at least follow my work that want to get as close as possible to it and have
Hmm.
voiced that and actively do that on a daily basis. If it's not just like liking every thing I post on Instagram, you know? So
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted to create a curated experience for the diehards, you know, because there's a lot of them and they're really amazing people that just follow my work around. So this year it's the best seat in the house, I think, for these. There's champagne involved. If you don't drink, there's sparkling cider. Um, and a lot of stuff just happens around and to these tables so that you get to interact with it more. I'm not
Mm.
crazy about complete immersion in shows. I don't want to be involved in work when I go see it. I don't want you to hold my hand and drag me on stage and do all that stuff. So there's none of that. We're not doing that. This is not Sleep No More, you know. But you do get a more intimate experience, which I think is worth an upcharge. You know, in a lot of ways, and I'm really excited to be able to give that to people this year because I think it's a really fun concept, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to give away what it is. But it's very in your
Yeah. Well, I always look forward to the design. I look forward to the T-shirt design
yes.
as
Mm-hmm.
well because I have a few of them.
I love
Uh,
seeing them around. I had a guy
yeah.
take a photo of a guy he saw in Italy wearing one. Yeah, it was
What?
really, really cool. I was really excited about it. And
That
I've
is
only
cool.
sent a couple
I
shirts to Italy, so I was like, that's amazing. You know?
That's
Yeah, for
great.
sure.
I mean, I have some Rep Radio shirts and some
Mm-hmm.
Emery shirts, and every now and then they will show up on some of my friends in New York who will go out and tag me on them, and it does do
It's
my
amazing,
heart
isn't
good.
it?
Like, I was like, because I worked hard to find a good quality
Yeah.
shirt. You know, I wanted it to be
Yeah.
comfortable for me too. It's comfortable for you, and then it's also a little bit of
Yeah, for
promotion.
sure.
So you know, at least you don't forget
Or no,
about
I have a
me.
secret for
You
you.
have it
I have
on.
a secret for you that I haven't told anybody yet about this show. This year, we may have bathrobes for merchandise, which I'm super
Wow.
excited about. And as somebody who's also made their own merch,
Hmm.
you know what that could mean. It's just so much fun. It's way too much fun. So we were looking. Actually, we took a bathrobe to the embroidery today to see if it could happen. So hopefully, it'll happen because I'm super excited about it.
I I already know one little lady right now who will definitely buy
Right?
that.
The
That
people that get really into it. I'm telling you, the
yes.
diehards. Yeah,
Yeah, is but that's what you have to do. It's like a keepsake. It's like the experience you will carry
yeah.
with you, but it's the keepsake that you get to share with
And I
everyone else. You get to kind of go out and say, "Hey, you know, I did see that show. It was great," and you get to talk more about it. It's a
For
conversation
sure. And
starter.
I learned this going to a lot of other works. I go to a lot of Broadway shows. I love Broadway stuff. And I always get a t shirt because I have a very short memory, right? And I can't remember any of the experiences that I've had. So I'll get them extra, extra large and I'll wear them to bed every night. And every night I wear a different one. And it reminds me of that time. And it's usually a date with Michael, you know? So it's like these reminders of what I've done. And it's really, really fun.
I am a magnet and a lapel pin
Oh, yeah.
hoarder. So I will buy those from any show. If by the end of the show I'm saying, "All right, I was entertained. I enjoyed that. There were some moments I will definitely take with me." Then I will go out to the lobby and get a
Noted.
pin or a
Thoroughly
magnet.
noted. We just went to Disneyland and we came out covered in pins. Seriously, like 40 pins, you know, wearing them on lanyards. We like totally geeked out. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
What was, uh, what was it? Why am I drawing a blank on this? Oh, I guess it was Office
Mm,
Space, the
yeah.
movie Office Space, where they go to that restaurant, and they're talking about the flare that she has on her, that she has to wear as part of her uniform.
It's amazing.
I think that was it. Yeah,
it's amazing.
14 is. Yes, I have a bag. I have a bag. It's called an emergency thirst aid kit.
Okay. Yes.
It's a bag.
Absolutely, yes.
It's a bag I got at a winery, and it holds 3 bottles of wine. But all the pins that I've acquired over the years are on the bag, like all over the bag.
Yo, this is it. This is the idea, because I did this and I went to all these national parks, and I have a backpack of the same thing, and I sew all the patches of the national parks onto this backpack. And when I wear it out, I feel like a super adventurer, you know? And you're right. Everybody asks you about all their pins and all this stuff. Yeah, it's like a bumper sticker.
They are conversation starters. They also let people know that you are approachable. Right. Why would you have all of these on?
It depends on what you're wearing, but yes, absolutely. If you got Trump pants, I'm probably not going to approach you, you know?
Seriously.
It's a high percentage that I probably won't be approaching you.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Whenever I see those bumper stickers,
I'm just going to go the other way, sir.
I'm going the other way. You make me feel unsafe.
You feel unsafe in my own skin, ma'am.
Yes. So I'm not saying that because you need magnets and lapel pins.
Yes, you are.
I'm just saying that I do love these shirts, because there was a time, and I may have said this before, that I was thinking about whenever I go somewhere, I want to rep Philadelphia. So I do try to, I do have a lot of shirts from Philadelphia artists and organizations. And I just feel like, you know, if I'm going to be in Edinburgh, I'm bringing all of those shirts.
You got it.
Yeah. So people can ask me, and then, you know, conversation starter. Here's some work that you should also find.
I love it, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. So BathHouse will run from September 8th to October 30th. And this is this an extension? Like last year was kind of, it felt like it's Fringe, but then it also extends beyond Fringe. Are you doing that because there is that much of audience for it, or was that always part of your plan to just carry beyond?
You want
Fringe?
the real answer? The real answer is that yes, there's an audience for it that we found out from last year. And maybe the year before. And it ramps up right throughout Fringe. So a lot of people can't see stuff during Fringe because there's so much going on that they don't make it to everything. So when you go past it, a lot of people get a chance to see it, especially other artists and stuff, which is really, really nice. But my shows have been growing at such an immense rate, and the production value grows with it, which means the costs behind it grow immensely every year. And the only way to actually get the show paid off is to have a longer run. That's the real answer. And just hope that you have enough people in your wheelhouse that'll come see it and bring their friends and all of that stuff and come out to support. But the real answer is that I like to go big, and I like to go really hard. And to do a show like this and to pay it off, you have to run it for at least 2 months, you know? And even then you're like, if you pay it off, you know? But that's what we've learned, is that there's a word for it, and, you know, with finance or whatever, but I'm an artist, so I don't know that word.
So I always tell everyone, I think it's a great opportunity if there is a possibility to do this, to thank people for attending and encourage them to come back at some sort of discount and bring a friend, so that way you fill those seats.
And a lot of people do. A lot of people will come back multiple times. I've had people every year. I have a handful of people that'll come like 5 or 6 times. And I think that's because the work moves so fast that it's really hard to catch all of it the first time. You know what I'm saying? So a
Yeah.
lot of times it happens to you, and then it takes you a few times to realize what's going on. But that's just how my work works. And then they bring new people every time. So it's been really wonderful to see it grow. The whole audience. This year we've done the best we've ever done on a Kickstarter, and we are selling the most tickets at this moment than we've ever done before. So it's really fun to see
great.
so many people excited about it in a world that doesn't feel all that exciting. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely a good sign that people are excited and interested in getting out into the world, and we're not we are cautious. We are still treading lightly. Like, there are articles everybody is passing around this New York Times article about particularly about theaters, saying theaters are open, but the audiences are slow to return. And it's good to see. And when we get out into the world, we're like, okay, well, some places are slow to return, but there are people out, and there are people who are like, you know what, I cannot stay in, especially when there is something for me to go out for. So that I think that people are just being more selective now, and they are looking for something that is worth it, as opposed to just like the Fringe model, which I do appreciate, where you just build this laundry list of shows you want to go see, and you kind of move so quickly through them that unless you're documenting them after every single experience, like, do you remember the 5th show you saw? You're like, I don't know, I saw 23 shows. Okay, well, smell you, Nancy Drew. You're like,
I always appreciate the people that have like seen my show after seeing like 20 other shows and then go to another show like the same night. I'm always like, whoa, more power to you. Like, super art goer,
Well, they're in their head about, okay, well, this show is 60 minutes, so I can haul buns out of here, get across town, and go see another show, or there's a late night show, and that mindset only happens in the Fringe. It doesn't happen in March. It doesn't happen in June.
It's very bizarre, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll say that I appreciate that it happens sometime of the year, because in a city that values cheesesteaks over the ballet, it's just nice to see that artists get appreciated at least a month out of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it's a shame that it's only a month.
I know.
But
well, that I think this month is such an infusion of interdisciplinary artistry that it's like a jolt. It's a shock to the system to remind us of how vibrant our theater community, our arts community is. So I'm hoping that people who come to Fringe events will want to carry that energy throughout the rest of the season.
Oh, for sure.
And not just for lack of a better term, blow your wad. At FringeArts.
And Darnell, this is really the time that it's needed the most, I feel. Just working on this show, you see the impact of the last few years on the theater community so visibly through my work with this show. And it is immense, and it is so, so sad to not be able to find master electricians because nobody's doing that anymore in the city, in the theater, or not be able to get lights because none of the local lighting equipment is around. Like, the impact on the theater community is so real. So the people supporting it they really got to get out there and do it these days if we're going to be the theater town we have been. You know what I'm saying? And all this cool Philly stuff is going to keep happening. People do, unfortunately, need to leave their house and come check us out. But I get it. I totally get it. I would much rather stay home and watch House of Dragon too. But
that's very true.
yeah,
But I think we'll get back there
I'm
though.
hoping so. Yeah.
I often think about like what happened. So for instance, I am general manager at Theater Exile, and Theater Exile celebrated 25 years of theatrical productions and seasons.
Yeah, you guys have always cared.
And
yeah,
they have. And so I think about like what happened 25 years ago when a Theater Exile came on the scene, because Theater Exile wasn't the only organization to come on the scene 25 years ago. And then I think about before then, like, you know, a PTC, for example, or an Interact or an 1812, you know, and Philadelphia, you know, when you think about all the cultural organizations, like what was happening in our city, in the world, that said, you know what, we need an infusion of diverse cultural explosion. And I feel like we are kind of set up for something like that to happen again.
Oh, for sure.
Because we've had a lot of transition. Yeah. We've had a lot of people who have left our business, and then other people who always wanted to get in,
right?
You know, are entered.
Yeah.
So I think that there will be some interesting transition or infusion in probably, you know, I mean, in this decade, of course. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what happens.
Oh, for sure. And I think times like these are what bring out the arts like tenfold, right? If you look at the history of things, like the speakeasies in Berlin, stuff like this, you know, like all of these things came out of trauma, you know, like really big global trauma. So and that's when art just spikes. We're not quite there yet. We're all still traumatized, but it definitely will happen because that expression has to come out. So you're definitely right. I think it will take a few moments. You know?
And even though we saw a lot of things that were kind of speaking to the moment, like trying to make sense of what we were currently going through, probably like later 2020, also into 2021. I don't think we're finished. I don't think we're finished like making sense of all of this. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's future art coming.
Oh, there definitely
is. That is going to keep talking about.
We all keep pretending like everything's okay. And everything is not okay. Like we're not registering what has happened in the world in the last 3 years. We're trying to get back on track and pretending like we are, but nobody's succeeding at that because everybody is in a different place. You know, and not enough people are acknowledging that place. And acknowledging the change that actually needs to happen to recover from something like this. So I do think it takes years to get away from it and then to look back on it from a bird eye's perspective. And we're still very much so in it.
Yeah. So we have to put together a playlist, you know, starting with Break My Soul.
Yes, of course, a whole album.
The whole album. Yeah, Renaissance.
Really
and then
the whole album though, man.
To get our lives
She got it right.
on track.
She got it right,
yes. She did. I feel like, and I love all the remixes that came from that too.
It's just awesome. As a cast, we've been listening to it nonstop.
You know, when I thought about it, we were thinking like, you know, this is ballroom AF. This is every dance studio. You know, this is like I can't wait to see all the choreography that comes from it.
She's got so much good stuff in there. It's jam packed. You know. And it's also just so new and so fresh at the same time. It's special. It's definitely special for her.
But it goes. We need to see art that is unapologetic and raw and real, and you know, to allow us to actually live our full lives, to be our full selves, and for so much time. I feel like a lot of people are trying to button up and be a very specific, acceptable to a certain class, or a certain type of people, environment. And now we're saying, like, you know what? It's me. It's me. It's my uniqueness that is valuable. That is so fire.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, going back to the show, that's what a lot of this show is about as well, is finding that individuality and celebrating that and not repressing any of that because you're in a system that tells you to, and that is something really beautiful that's come out of the last 3 years, I think, because we all stopped and we thought about ourselves and we figured ourselves out a little bit more. And then we realized that, we're not fitting in the way we thought we were fitting in, and there's some adjustment that needs to be made there. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. So in the basement, on the basement level of Motel Montana, we are going to experience BathHouse this September at the Latvian Society, a Gunnar Montana production. It is not to be missed, just like all of the other productions that came before it. I am excited. I will be there on the 22nd, and I cannot wait.
Excited to have you
for that. Yes. I'd be so excited to be there.
That'll be a good show, because we'll have our footing by then. The first week is always a little hit or miss.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, because it's a long run, like, where do you think you actually get your stride? And this is not to say that people should wait, but, like, where do you get to the point where you're just kind of like, we've got a routine down?
Well, there's three different versions of the show, right? There's the first half of the show, the first third of the show, where we're just trying to figure it out because it's so crazy, and everything goes wrong, and we just try to make it the best possible. The middle part where we really get our footing, and then we're like on cruise control. And then there's the end where we get a little bored because we've done doing it for so long that we start just throwing stuff in there. So you have 3 chances to see a completely different show with a completely different energy. I'll say that.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the reason to come see it 3 times.
For sure.
See it while we still have training wheels on it. See it when we take those training wheels off, and see it when we start bouncing off the walls with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's BathHouse, Gunnar Montana production, September 8th through October 30th. Get your tickets. You can go to GunnarMontana.com for information. It is also listed on FringeArts, and we will have those links in the show notes as well. And you can follow Gunnar at Gunnar Montana on Instagram, the social media platform of choice.
We love to hate it. Yes.
Yes. Gunnar, it is always a pleasure to talk to you, to unpack your work. And I can't wait to experience it. I spend all the time after I chat with you talking to friends about what day we're coming. They should come and experience it with us. So we will be there, and I can't wait to get my tank top. To rock that. I'll be like, I don't know if you know, I was at the BathHouse, I was at the Montana.
That's it. That's why we do it.
Yes. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and get to BathHouse. And if you don't bring your bathrobe, there may be one there for you.
Maybe. Well, thanks so much, Darnell.
Rep Radio is an Emory production. You can follow us on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at @rep_radio, and Facebook at Rep Radio. If you would like to be a guest on our show, visit our website at em3ry.com. Ride with us. Emory is on the move.